The world is changing fast. Everyone is on the move. Some to earn a living, better their lives or the lives of other people. The latter is my goal. My name is Kafugi Mbae. I am a Kenyan journalist. I've reported on various issues, including Kenya's health system, the killer crocodiles of Lake Victoria, the power of love and religion, among others. This story is about a well-known but little-regarded animal, the donkey, a beast of burden the world over. For thousands of years, the donkey and the common man have been close friends. Their relationship has enabled them to get through life and improve the lives of others. That is changing. Today, donkeys are being hunted down and killed. I want to know why. So I'll be going to 4 towns: Limuru, Naivasha, Kajiado, and Narok, all places where donkeys are under threat, to investigate.
Mimi ninapea mboga yangu maji kwa sababu hii area yetu ni ukame sana.
Margaret Mpatiani is a woman leader in Narok town. I meet her in her garden at around 4 p.m.
Hapa nimepanda sukuma kidogo. Nimepanda pia cabbage. Kuna pia spinach. Sasa inabidi tu tulete maji na punda. Tuweke kwa hii tangi ndio niweze kumwagia mboga yangu. Ukitafuta tinga ama utafute hiyo lori ni pesa mingi sana. Wanatulipisha kama 10,000. Na sisi wamama ni ngumu tupate pesa kama hizo.
The service that the donkey renders here has made it a darling to women.
Mimi nasemanga punda ni ngaini yangu. Ngaini ni kusema bibi mwenzako. Juu ananisaidia sana na nikimwambia leo twende soko hata sema chochote. Ataamuka tu na tutaenda. Nikimwambia twende ukuni atakubali. Nikimwambia twende wapi anakubali. Sasa punda mimi naitanga ni bibi mwenzangu.
This unique relationship is replicated in almost every home where there's a woman. It's a reality that Dr. Raphael Kenoti understands well. He's the executive director of Farming Systems Kenya, an organization that deals with farming and animal welfare.
In Narok, like in other pastoralist areas, donkeys are owned by women. Why are they owned by women? Because then a woman wakes up every day and she has to go an average of 5 kilometers in some villages to get water. If she doesn't have a donkey, it's 1 20-liter jerrycan to and fro for the day. If a woman owns a donkey, then you can use that donkey 6 jerrycans one day, and then you have your whole week, because then they use 1 jerrycan of 20 liters per day for the household work. You know, they know how to save water. So the woman actually can save her 6 days without going to the river, you know, to collect water or to the water source. But if that woman loses that donkey, then it's daily trips.
Apart from Narok, the donkey is heavily relied upon in other parts of Kenya. I witnessed this in Limuru town, where I meet with John Chege, one of the many donkey owners here. He has relied on a donkey for his livelihood for more than 30 years.
Punda mimi amenisaidia kutoka nimalize shule, sikuenda high school, nilifanya mpaka study 7. Na kutoka wakati huyo punda amenisaidia, analipia nyumba, na nimeoa nikiwa na huyo punda. Niko na watoto 5 wanasoma, mmoja ako form 4 na mwingine form 1, mwingine study 6 na mwingine study 3 na mwingine sasa ndio anaenda kwanza. Kwa hivyo punda mimi imenisimamia muda yangu yote ile tangu nimaliza kwa shule.
The donkey has unique characteristics, making it a unique partner to man. One of them is its sharp memory. It's alleged that a donkey can remember places and other donkeys it was with for up to 25 years. I'll tell you more about the donkey later. For now, let's talk about the characteristic it's widely known for, being a beast of burden.
On average here, with our calculations, a donkey will bring 1,200 shillings into a household every day. Lose that donkey, then you've lost your livelihood. Losing a donkey means you've no food for the evening. Your family doesn't, your children do not go to school. It means a lot.
In short, losing a donkey is like losing a job or the person you depend on. What would you do if today you got sacked or your sole breadwinner died? Margaret understands the impact of losing her co-wife as she fondly refers to the donkey. A few months ago, you wouldn't find her watering her vegetables in the evening. She would do this in the morning. She tells me why things have changed.
Punda wameibiwa sana. Hata watu wengi hawana punda hapa. Zimechinjwa. Mwezi wa 8 punda imeenda karibu 30. Sunana hiyo ni punda mingi sana. Sijui kwa nini watu wanaenda kukula punda za watu. Haijulikani ni nani anaiba.
The impact of donkey theft speaks to an Ethiopian proverb that says, when a woman loses a donkey, she becomes a donkey herself.
Juu tumeenda hata kwa polisi, wakafuatilia hakuna. Haijapatikana hata njia hata waleo. Sasa hatujui ni nini inaendelea. Sasa tungekuwa na maendeleo kubwa sana. Juu hapa unaona tungekuwa tumeshapanda. Lakini sasa juu punda ni chache na wale wamama wanataka kufanya kazi kama hii, inabidi walete na mtungi moja. Sasa mtungi moja ukienda kutoka asubuhi mpaka jioni, unaona hiyo siku inaenda.
Donkey theft has hit not just Narok, but other parts of Kenya as well. Donkey owners are finding it hard to bear the loss of their donkeys. Nalangu Kuyayu is one of them. Late last year, she lost 8 donkeys at a go. Only 2 were hers, the rest she had borrowed from friends. Margaret takes me to her home a day after our meeting.
Siku hiyo mimi tumepeleka mahindi wa Songiro. Ameamuka hapa saa 10 akaenda kulala Loisi usi huko. Unaamkia sokoni. Unafanya kazi mpaka saa 9 mimi unakuja. Unafika hapa saa 2.
Later that evening, Nalangu fed the donkeys then went to sleep.
Aya akaamkia saa 11. Funda haiko. Saa hiyo ndio sisi umeamka, funda iko wapi? Hata ni sisi hakuna nini muisi ya funda. Unafikiri tu funda umetoka ama umefanya nini? Funda iko wapi? Akakimbilia hii mabama, hajaona funda yangu, siku hiyo umeenda. Mimi nasunguka tu hapa. Haya funda haiko. Akaamkia kusema sasa funda iko wapi?
Nalangu did not know that she had fallen victim to donkey theft. The loss devastated her. What concerned her most was how she would replace the donkeys she had borrowed.
Mimi tumelia kwa hii nyumba mwezi 2. Kwa maisha ya unalipa funda na si mimi ndio umekula. Na watoto yangu mmesoea mwaka 17. Hiyo funda ndio unalisha watoto yangu. Sasa unakaa hakuna chakula, hakuna maji. Na unalipa ingine. Sasa na hakuna pesa ya kulipa.
But even if Nalangu had money, that wouldn't be enough.
Hata hakuna funda ya kununulia. Watu umeuza, kila mtu umeuza yake. Hiyo yangu ya umeibiwa ndio hasara. Tangu siku hiyo, taabu umekuja kwangu. Ya kila kitu. kila njia. Na zamani hakuna shida, maji iko, chakula iko. Ndio punda ya kulipa umeweka mimi stress, hawezi lala. Ikitumbuka ninya hawezi fika. Watoto kama hawezi fika, mimi unashindwa kufika chakula. Ikitumbuka tu hii deni.
The rising cases of donkey theft in Narok led to this demonstration that took place on March last year. Angry residents blocked the Narok-Bomet highway for hours as they demanded for action from the government.
Sisi wa mama tunategemea punda kwa chakula, kwa watoto ya shule, tunasomesa naye watoto na tunaona waizi wamejaa na tumekataa tukiwa wa mama. Wa mama tuwakatae. Hatutaki, tumekataa. Kuchinja punda, tumekataa. Kuuzwa punda, tumekataa.
The demonstration by Narok residents, however, did not yield the desired impact. Instead, cases of donkey theft increased. What perplexed them was how the thieves would kill the donkey and only take its skin. It was a mystery that perhaps only this man could unravel. He's the director of veterinary services in Kenya.
We gazetted the donkey as a food animal way back in 1999. And this happened after quite a long period of pressure from Kenyans who apparently had identified market for donkey meat. And they knew that with the law as it was in Kenya, they were not going to be able to legally slaughter donkeys and exploit that market.
At first, the gazettement did not seem to have a negative impact. This changed very quickly.
We didn't think through the impact. The first thing was to ask ourselves whether, because that was something new in Kenya, whether we would have any issues with the people eating donkey meat. So we went through our own risk analysis and we established us as veterinarians, we had no problem with anyone eating donkey meat. So that was the first thing. The second thing was in terms of the population, okay? How much of the donkey did we have? But even then the figures were not so big, okay? So the gazettement went out and the next thing that followed was now demand from investors to establish facilities for slaughter.
One such investor is John Kariuki. He is the founder and chief executive officer of Star Brilliant Abattoir in Naivasha. He gives a brief history of how he started his trade.
When I started about donkey, number one, I used to do export of hides and skins to China, India, Italy. So I got so many customers in China. And when they are coming here in Kenya to see the product, they used to ask me about donkey skins. But I used to tell them that we don't eat donkey in Kenya. So they kept on insisting. They want the donkey skins.
Kariuki eventually got convinced and immediately began to do research. Not long after, he started the construction of this abattoir. The abattoir has various sections where different activities are carried out. There is a section for skinning donkeys, deboning, and packaging, among others. But everything starts here. It's nearly impossible for a donkey to enter here and come out alive. Many die soon after the trigger is pulled. Others, however, take a little longer. After hanging, the donkey is skinned and its internal organs removed. The meat is then cut into pieces and packaged for export. Most of it goes to China.
The most popular, it is the #1 up to #4. Those are the ones which we normally export a lot. But we also export the eye, the tongue, ligaments, stomach, and the intestine, and the penis, and also the heart. Then we have the spleen, remains, and the small, those are the leftovers. Yeah. This is where we preserve the skin. We use salt so that we can preserve the skin. You can hear there is no smell in this room. And we take very serious the skin because this is revenue. It gives our country money, and also it is also helping our people here to get also the salary. So like now this hip you are seeing here, it is having about 150 pieces. And when we remove the skin from the animal, we are removing the skin together with the head. This is the head, and we are removing even up to the tail. You can see, this is the tail. So we don't have any waste. When it is low, like this one, in low form now, it is going at $142.
That's the equivalent of 14,000 Kenya shillings, the price of a live donkey. Sometimes the skin costs even more than the donkey. Donkey skin is used to make ejiao, a traditional Chinese medicine that has been in use for thousands of years. It is believed ejiao can treat reproductive problems, increase blood circulation, and act as an anti-aging agent. Ejiao products are also exchanged as gifts among the rich in China.
1 kilogram of the gelatin, which is called the jiao, this is why donkeys are being slaughtered, is costing about 40,000 Kenya shillings.
Fredo Chieng is the Chief Executive Officer of Brooke, East Africa, an organization that focuses on the welfare of donkeys, horses and mules in East Africa.
We are told one skin should be able to, once boiled, should be able to provide about 1.25 kilograms of the gelatin. So ideally, one skin gives 50,000 Kenya shillings. Given that this animal is also being slaughtered for meat, you could double the price. So you could say one donkey actually contributes about, say, right about 100,000 Kenya shillings. Why are donkey owners being paid a paltry 10,000 shillings for their donkey, when in totality they fetch about 100,000 shillings?
Ejiao originated in Donghe County in Shandong Province, East China. Nearly 90% of the factories that produce ejiao are found here. Each week, thousands of donkey skins from around the world find their way here. The production of ejiao is dependent on people like John, who live thousands of miles away from China. John sells between 5,000 and 6,000 donkey skins each month. But while John smiles all the way to the bank, donkey owners are counting losses. One of them is Joseph Dhendo. He is the chair of Naivasha Donkey Owners Association. It's a position he still holds despite having no donkeys of his own. I find him in this shop with his wife as they prepare soap-making chemicals for sale. This is part of what he has been doing since last year when his donkeys got stolen.
Hii kichinjio ambacho kiletwa hapa Naivasha kimetuudhi sana kwa sababu kimekuwa ambacho kimechangia wizi, sababu kama juzi kimefungwa hakuna wizi unaendelea, lakini wakati kilikuwa kinaendelea wizi ulikuwa hali ya juu, na wakati huo ndio punda zangu ziliibiwa.
The donkeys were stolen during daytime on a Sunday.
Ilijulikana ya kwamba mimi ninaenda kanisa na siwezi wacha mambo ya kanisa ili niende nikashughulikie punda, kama vile Biblia inasema siku hiyo ni ya kupumzika. Kwa hivyo punda wangu alikuwa amepumzika na mimi pia nilikuwa nimepumzika, nimeenda kanisani.
Since then, Joseph has been struggling to provide for his family.
If you go to the slaughterhouses, they tell you their story. They are doing cool, nice business. They are talking of containers of donkey skins at millions, tens tens of millions of shillings. It's business by the big muscle. But come down the ladder. Come to the common mwananchi who has lost two donkeys. They have lost everything. They have lost their livelihood.
John differs with Dr. Kinoti.
I think that is not now the case because we are exporting the meat to China. The same Chinese, they have made the work easier for fetching the water. They have brought us motorbikes, bodas. Before, people used to go very far with the donkeys to fetch water. And they leave in the morning, they come back in the evening. Now they use motorbikes. It goes very quickly and they bring the water. So things are changing.
The real meaning of change here in Naivasha depends on who you ask.
Maisha imebadilika kabisa. Hata nimehama mahali nilikuwa naishi kwa sababu chenye kilikuwa kinanisaidia kulipa nyumba ni hao punda.
It is believed donkey theft has been caused by a drastic fall in the number of donkeys in China. According to a report by the Donkey Sanctuary entitled Under the Skin, China needs 10 million donkey skins annually. The world is able to produce only 1.8 million donkey skins per year. In 1990, China had 11 million donkeys. By 2014, that number had fallen to 6 million. This forced China to source for donkey hides in other countries. Kenya is one such country.
If you go to the quick figures from the 2009 census, we had 1.8 million donkeys in this country. In particular, if you come down to Nakuru and like Naivasha where we are, the figures were 19,000 donkeys, you know. Think about that against 2 slaughterhouses, one doing 300 plus in Mogotio, Baringo County, every day. 300 donkeys every day, actually over 300 donkeys, but an average of 300. And one in Naivasha, doing 100, at least 100, ranging between 100 and 150. Think about those numbers against gestation period of a donkey, 12 to 14 months. Donkeys here, because they are used for work, will not necessarily produce
At present, Kenya has 4 abattoirs located in Nakuru, Baringo, Turkana, and Machakos counties.
These slaughterhouses in total slaughter close to 1,000 animals on a daily basis. But of course, because of the demand, we also believe there's an equal number of donkeys being slaughtered illegally, you know, in the bushes and all that. And so that brings us to close to 2,000 animals slaughtered every day.
Considering that 75% of the donkeys in the whole country are used for work, where do we get numbers to do the slaughter?
It is a question that I posed to Dr. Njagi.
Right now, I can tell you for a fact, most of the donkeys that are being slaughtered are actually perhaps not Kenyan donkeys. Okay? We have seen now a new trend of Kenyans to hold on to their donkeys. If you move around the slaughterhouses, you find that the donkeys that are arriving at the slaughterhouses don't look like our donkeys. You know how our donkeys look like. They are foreign donkeys, and many of them may be coming from across the border.
That's a surprising statement, coming from the man in charge of licensing abattoirs in Kenya. Could it be that foreign donkeys point to a serious shortage of Kenyan donkeys? Could that shortage be the cause of donkey theft? I sought answers from one of the employees at Goldocks Donkey Abattoir in Mogotio, Baringo County. We have hidden his identity to protect him.
Nani wanaiba punda?
Wa suppliers. Wale wanakuja kuuzia kampuni.
John, not his real name, claims that the abattoir he works for isn't as thorough as it ought to when receiving donkeys from suppliers.
Kwanza kwa saizi venye kuna shortage ya punda, kampuni wanachukua punda bila kutaka kujua imetoka wapi, ni ya wizi ama si ya wizi.
Na kuna wakati mwingine punda wanapatikana wamechinjwa vichakani na ngozi haiko. Kuna wakati ngozi uletwa kwa kichinjio.
Mwaka jana tulikuwa tunapata ngozi mingi sana. Ngozi zile zinaletwa tu kuuzwa. kwa kijiji zilikuwa zinapokelewa sana kwa wingi.
Goldocks Abattoir has denied these claims. According to Narok County Commissioner George Natembea, there was a time stolen donkeys ended up at the abattoir.
When I was a county commissioner in Isiolo, there was a lot of stealing of donkeys and they were being taken to Mogotio. But again, we were able to stem that. Here, we just know like another crime. You know, they carry them in lorries. You just put roadblocks. Yeah, and you respond to reports very quickly. You know, some of those areas are quite expensive. So maybe you can get reports when it's a bit late. So we manage the roads. If there are panya roads, we seal those panya roads. Yeah, and then again you ask the people to take care of their livestock more.
John denies facilitating donkey theft. He says he has put measures to ensure only legally acquired donkeys are brought to his abattoir.
We advise our suppliers. They have to come to my office. They get an RPO. After that, they will go to the veterinary, county veterinary office to get no objection letter, so that when they reach to where they are taking where they are getting their animals, then those two documents help them to get the movement permit. Then we have gone higher about that. Now we are insisting to the veterinary officers who are in the field there not to issue the movement permit if somebody doesn't have letter from the chief, because it is only the chief who can know that you have a donkey.
Daniel Olesankale is one of the chiefs in Narok who has been issuing letters to donkey traders. He stopped doing so over a year ago. I asked him why.
Kwa sababu punda wanaisha, na punda ndio uti wa mgongo wa familia kwa Wamasai. Wakati tunapunda kwa boma, ni kama ile boma pengine mko na pickup. Kwa sababu mambo yote ya maji ni punda. Kulete unga, kwenda kusiaga unga ni punda. Kulete kuni ni punda. So mama ndiye ameumia kwa sababu hizo ni kazi ambazo ni kina mama wanafanya.
Daniel tells me how the theft is carried out and who actually is involved.
Wale watu wenye wako na haja ya punda wenyewe hawafanyi hiyo kazi ya uizi wa punda. Punda wanaibiwa na vijana wetu ambao hawana kazi. Wao wenyewe ndio wanachinja punda, wanafanya kazi yote. Sasa yule broker, kuna chain kuna yule mwenye anakuja ni broker, anatafuta punda kwa vijiji, anatumia vijana wetu wale ambao wana kazi. Kama punda pengine ukiambiwa ngozi ya punda ni shilingi 7,000. Sasa wewe utahakikisha kuwa umepata punda ndio mchinje uuze ngozi shilingi 7,000. Yule mwenye anachukua kutoka kwake ni middleman. Anachukua kwa bei nyingine, anapeleka naye kwa bei nyingine.
John is also well aware of the illegal trade of donkey skins.
There are people who are buying the skins in Nairobi who are not authorized by the government. They don't have the license. People are stealing the donkeys from the farmers. At the slaughter, they remove the skin. After skinning the animal, they leave the meat there. If they have the market for the meat, then you find this meat is going to Burma, where people in Nairobi, the Nairobians, they are eating that meat without being inspected by the doctor.
Unsettling news for Nairobi residents. Although many would not readily eat donkey meat, they might already have done so, unknowingly. We established this during a visit to the Burma meat market in late 2018. Take a listen to this conversation between one of the meat traders and our source. After a short while, our source goes to another part of the market. Here, he meets a beef trader.
terere no ke jana ga dikana kirega no na audio yo ni ga kango siwezi pewa hata hapa kuku wangi na ile side ya juu huko tuko huko kufura ni rahisi tena sana na hii ni ile igoro tumedagia tu kama kemenyaga ndio tunajua tu unafikiri wanafanyanga chenye wajui na mtu na mwenye kununua ajui lakini mwenye kununua ajui lazima mwenye anaielewa sasa zenye zinakuwa gazina mifupa zimezoro hizo.
But how does donkey meat get to Bama market?
Gari yetekerio kuingira ri makari agirira tu ndio okay agirira tu ngetha tekerenga mesho ina okajo kanjo na mathigo kigobo tangiri na makamore kabuda kakaingira ndagitari yetekera kanjo ndere bujo mu ndagitari niwe mu
I asked Dr. Njagi about these allegations.
We are aware of this, and many times we have working the consultation with the county government of Nairobi. Bama market is not a licensed outlet for donkey meat or any other meat other than sheep and goats, cattle. Okay, it's not a licensed outlet for donkey meat. So if there is any donkey meat sold at Bama market, that's an illegality, that's crime. Okay, and needs to be handled as crime.
Many countries in Africa have banned donkey trade. They include Burkina Faso, Senegal, Niger, Mali and Tanzania.
Their donkey population was crashing. Communities were crying. Thanks God, probably those guys had good leadership that can listen to them, and they closed.
Despite Kenya being in more or less the same situation, it is not considering banning the trade yet.
We are not reached there, but if we meet the stakeholders and the discussions are such that there is need to ban, we would consider it. I would not say that we are specifically talking about banning, but I know there are discussions, some to do with that, some to do with other controls.
Kenya is not ripe for donkey trade. We just don't have the structures, the laws, the whole value chain is not organized. Stop donkey slaughter. Let's close these slaughterhouses. That we would think is a short term, so that in the long run, we do our census right. We look at the whole value chain. Who is it affecting, in which way? How do we mitigate that? Put in structures, then now begin the trade if we want to go that way.
Once you have opened a door, okay, it becomes very difficult for government to wake up one day and say stop.
But looking at the situation, isn't that the most logical thing to do?
Well, I would like to be advised by the stakeholders. Yes.
But you as a director?
No, I would not want to pronounce my position on that.
When I push him further, Dr. Njagi tells me that the government already has a donkey breeding program.
We insisted to the investors that anyone who was going to have a facility license would have to do a breeding farm, and then would have together also support us to develop a breeding program for donkeys. This one was done gladly by the support of the Chinese. The major market actually up to now happens to be in China, and they did accept to support us to start up a breeding program. Only that it has not taken off because of the way it was conceptualized.
Why should we be breeding donkeys for China? Why can't they breed the donkeys? They have all the technologies. Their population has reduced by half in almost the last decade. If they cannot breed the donkeys, why would we claim that we can do better than them?
I asked Dr. Njagi whether he knows of the plight of donkey owners.
As the DVS, Director of Veterinary Services Kenya, the concerns of the farmers are reaching us. So we are sensitive to the needs of those rural communities, okay? And I urge them to work with us. I urge them to work with the county veterinary authorities to be able to put or enforce the necessary controls as we look into ways of how to handle this business of slaughter of donkeys.
This is clean, cold capitalism, where people seated somewhere in Nairobi or elsewhere put in policies that completely hurt the common mwananchi. It is actually not the common mwananchi. Please note the faces that you've seen here. Is the people who are below what you call the common mwananchi. Is guys, you know, donkey owners are not regarded by anybody. So nobody really hears when we tell them we are losing livelihoods.
Lakini hata hiyo mwizi kwa Mungu hii hawezi maliza maisha yake. Unakufa tu bila habari. Wacha tu mimi nalia kwa hii nyumba. Kulilia Mungu.